Whoa, 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 whoa. 4% drop yesterday from 110 to 107. All due to Mr. Trump flip-flopping. One day, tariffs are off. The other day is on. In this video, I'll be giving you opportunities that come with this volatile move. And even with this 4%, I will be spotting, if you have not been in any trade, where there's opportunity for you, because this presents opportunities for you to now get in and to position yourself to be ready for the next swing, because we are still technically bullish, and for you to make money. Yes, Trump is influencing the market, but for us, what do we spot with all of this? When there's a correction, opportunity. We buy on red days and we sell on the green. My name is OP. I'm a prop trader from Hashedge, and I'm here every day to spot opportunities and make you a better investor and trader, and frankly, to make generational wealth. Let's just jump right into the video and the content we have for you today. And we take a look at the tweet which Donald Trump sent out and was used to spark the correction, the 4% correction we have in the markets yesterday. And pretty much, just summarizing, is putting a 50% tariff on the European Union, and even was speaking about select 25% tariff on select Apple products. And this is showing us that this additional tariffs is, on the broader macro picture, is implicating and signaling to the markets that Trump has not totally considered on tariffs like all of us assumed. And these actions yesterday calls into question how much tariffs will really be walked back after the 90-day pause expires. Then let's not forget, China is still in negotiations and they have still not concluded on the tariffs with that. So there's still a geopolitical risk that comes with that, which might affect financial markets and markets in general, crypto markets, of course, included. Like we can see with the tweet, altcoins are sunk, liquidations are stopped 450 million. Even Trump's own meme coin went down 50%. So we still see there's a big influence of geopolitics and macroeconomics on cryptocurrency as a whole, which of course moves us to look at what the fear and crypto fear and greed index is saying, which has now pulled us back still into greed, but less than the kind of greed, the extreme greed we had yesterday. We were at 78 yesterday. So we have literally moved close to 10 points lower into greed in 66 now. And when you look at the overall altcoin market, I'm telling you, I literally cannot spot one green. Okay, yes, I can spot a green, and it's gold. PAX G and XAUT. Every other thing has sunk deep. Minimum 10% drop. Like I see on Gala 10%, Pepe 11%, Theta 11%, dog with that 12%. All those have dropped very, very hard. Let's just jump right into the chart to see the opportunities that exist. First, looking at Bitcoin and looking at it from a wider perspective, and we look at it and see where we had the all-time high. The prior all-time high was around 109 or 110 thereabouts. So right now we went above it, but we were unable to close the daily on that, and which has now made us come back. And right now we can see we are testing the old all-time high, which is around 106 thereabouts. That is excluding the weeks. So if we use that for a gauge which is around 106, we seem to be right above it right now. So we are looking for a support which will leave us technically bullish, still in a bullish structure, to see this weekend close above 106. Once we can close above 106, we remain technically bullish, and that is where opportunities lie for a long to be piled in here, around here, this region. And this is where anyone can take a bullish for expectation to the upside to 110, 113 that we have been spotting through our macro trade line that we have spotted on the weekly. This is what happens. But if we drop below this 106 level, we should be expecting a further pullback to 99, 100,000, or there's another support around 102. So this is what we should be looking for, and we should be expecting further movement in the near term. So we are watching this, and we'll be anticipating any movement Bitcoin is telling us. Looking at the RSI, we look to be pointing downwards. Right now, it seems like it's curving towards to be consolidating around this 108, 107. So I suspect we might just continue a choppy movement for this rest of this week around these levels, and we'll just continue these levels and go up and down before we make a decision either to go up or we are going down. And that will be what we are looking at in Bitcoin. Moving on to Ethereum, you can see, of course, Bitcoin being the grandfather and the godfather of the market, it pulls every other altcoin. But we can see Ethereum and our take profit levels were reached yesterday. Hopefully you closed your trade. But now we are back on support around $2,545 levels, and we seem to be holding support on the 50 MA trend line. So this is extremely bullish for Ethereum, and we seem to be holding this. I also expect the same kind of movement to be happening on Ethereum, where we'll be choppy and we'll be moving sideways for the rest of this weekend before we can make any decision on price action. Looking at RSI, pretty much doing the same thing. A downturn, but it looks to be slanting towards the side. So it seems we'll be on choppy sideways market. So nothing really exciting in Ethereum and Bitcoin right now. We are just choppy, and we are just moving along there and just bubbling along in that sense. Looking at XRP as the last chart we'll be taking into technical analysis today, we see we're also experiencing the same thing. In fact, we have been experiencing the same thing for quite a while, a number of days now. And we have just been moving within the range of $2.4 and $2.3. And we have just been choppy within that range. So it's quite interesting. We are maintaining, and I've drawn a box level here, which we seem to be maintaining. So we should be expecting a hold of this support of $2.03. And once we can hold this support, if we drop between this support, guys, I will be shorting Ethereum in the XRP in the near term. If we drop below this trend line, below $2.02, then expect further movement to the downside. Looking at the RSI, we are pointing down, also looking slanting towards the sideways movement. So I'll be expecting more consolidation and more sideline movement in the near term for XRP. But you should be expecting XRP to make a decision, or else I believe XRP is one to short, and is one that I spot opportunities right now. Amongst all the three charts that I've shown, XRP is the one that has much more probability and much more bullish catalyst going for it that is going to be short. Despite, if you look at the fundamental news and what is going on, things are really bullish on XRP front. So I believe this is just the market makers manipulating the market, trying to scare everybody out of their positions, because they would know, and they can see through the order books, that a lot of people are piling into XRP because a lot of news, fundamental news, a lot of headlines is coming in favor for XRP. Like you can see, it has just launched on the MiCA, that's Euro stablecoin, on the XRP ledger. You see another news again that Brazzaville is launching another US-backed stablecoin, USDB, on XRP ledger. So these two bullish news will obviously make a lot of retail pile into XRP, and of course the market makers will want to scare them out of their positions and for them to get out, or to appear that they are losing money, and that is when fear comes into play and all of them are scared out of the market. So I believe this is what is going on in XRP. On a bullish macro picture, I remain bullish on XRP. I remain bullish on the price action still going upwards towards the single digits, well into the single digits, and crossing its prior all-time high. But for now, we look to be retesting the bottoms, so I should expect further correction in XRP chart. This is what I'm looking at XRP. We would go back momentarily to wrap up the video with Bitcoin and give our thoughts overall in Bitcoin. But I just want to take a look at further bullish news, speaking on what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying, that they are going big on digital assets and they want to make US the crypto capital of the world. Trump has been echoing this, and this is what is out there. So we know, and we know for certain, that the administration and government entities, we already have established, institutions are buying in, public companies are also laddering in, and they are in support. Regulation is in support of the whole space. So that has been established, and we all know this. However, let's not forget, we remain in a broad geopolitics macro environment whereby they would clearly affect prices. So that is what we take into cognizance. And as good traders, we have to bring all of these points and put it in to form our thesis before, and our conviction before we enter any trade. And that gives us a better position and informs us better to know and to predict where the price is going, or if the price is not going and we are going to get a correction. So we just take a look at Otto Hayes predicting 150k to 200k in Bitcoin by July, and of course he has his long-term prediction of 1 million by 2026.
Let's go. I mean, I don't think maybe it will happen. It will happen, but when, right? I want to, just because we're talking about $1 million Bitcoin, I want to get down to a more when level of like the next year. But just because we're talking about, when do you think $1 million Bitcoin could be realistic?
I think that we're going to have a crack up boom in sort of like 2026, 2027 time period. I think if we're going to have $1 million Bitcoin, that's when it's going to really manifest itself.
What's your timelines right now? Do you think that we could see a short-term little bull market here through the summer? Do you think everyone sells in May and goes away for the summer?
I think we can go through 110,000, and then so we sort of run until in the $150,000 to $200,000 range. I think that could happen between now and sort of like early July of this year. And then I think sort of the next decent correction, and that maybe is a 15 to 30% correction, I don't know, will be in August.
So looking at his analysis and his prediction, let's now take into consideration and see what is going on in the chart, if this is feasible and if this can come into reality, what he's saying. So 150, 200,000, that is that's a way above currently what we are sitting on. So let's just draw the ruler and see. So at 150, that's a 44% increase. Well, of course, we all in this space, we know that is quite easy for Bitcoin to achieve that in in like a week. But however, we have to be realistic and look at what he's saying. Of course, if he's saying that, that means we'll be expecting a lot of movement. Once we get above here, we expect support around the 110 before a further pullback. Then maybe another choppy movement before a further move up. And we will not expect another move down maybe like this before another move up like that before we further go on. So this is the way the market moves. The charts don't move up in a straight line. So we should expect further choppy movement, maybe a confirmation of support. When we get to a new resistance, we would get there, then come back down and consolidate again at support before we go back up. So that's the way the charts move. As for Bitcoin, we continue to watch the price action this weekend. Of course, lackluster movement and activity and volume during the weekends. So we expect more consolidation, more boring markets, more choppy markets. So don't get chopped out during this weekend and maintain your risk and before we see what the price action is telling us for movement. So all in all, everyone for us is just as traders, sometimes wait and see approach. Watch the market, let it tell us what to do. Don't jump into any trade and pay attention to it. Manage your risk levels and preserve your capital, because that's the most important. because you have to preserve your capital so that you can live to fight another day. You can live to take a trade when the opportunity is there and it presents itself. You don't want to get into choppy waters and you get chopped out and you lose your capital. Then when the real opportunity comes, you don't have capital to play with and to enter a trade and make money. We'll be monitoring this market. We'll be monitoring the price action all day, looking at the daily close in anticipation for tomorrow's movement so that it gives us and it makes us better. It informs us on what we do tomorrow. Either we take a wait and see approach and we also take notice of what is happening on the geopolitical front or the macro front. If that any news will come out today that will affect the markets, either up or down, whatever movement, there's always opportunity for us as traders to make money. That's why you are here. That's why I'm showing up, to make money and to spot opportunities. So come along with me on this ride from zero to Ferrari. So we make money together and we become profitable traders. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.